Welcome to Nonprofit Share Tank. I'm Roger Hodge, and I'm going to be your host this evening. Every day across our great country, nonprofits do important work that make millions of people's lives better. In most cases, these nonprofits depend on philanthropy to make their work possible. Today, we get to see philanthropy in action, even be part of the action. We will watch as 5 nonprofits enter the first ever nonprofit share tank, and each make their pitch for amounts up to $100,000 for charitable projects that will make a difference for real people. Our sharks are successful business persons chosen for their valuable experience, insights, and knowledge that they have to share. The sharks will school up, huddle up, and make a decision regarding contributing toward any project that meets their philanthropic values. So we've talked about the sharks. Why don't we meet the sharks? How about that? Shark number 1 is Kathy Ellis Kellerman. Kathy has lived and worked in Salem since 1977. She found her nonprofit home with Assistant League, working with both the Salem-Kaizen chapter and the national organization. She currently serves as chairman of the National Technology Committee. Welcome. Shark number 2, Honorable Paul DeMunez. Paul is a retired Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court and is currently a distinguished jurist in residence at the Willamette University School of Law. Shark number 3, Richard Pine. Richard is managing trustee for Evergreen Charitable Trust. In his spare time, Richard serves as president for 2 for-profit companies, O'Neill Pine Company and Financial Products and Services, Inc. Shark number 4, Rich Duncan. Rich is the president and owner of Rich Duncan Construction, which he opened back in 2001. And our 5th and final shark of the day is Rick Day. Rick is the president of Advantage Precast, Advantage Renovations, and Advantage Holdings. Rick serves as the board president for Salem Contractors Exchange, sits on the boards of Pacific Northwest Precast Concrete Association, Kaiser CERT, and the Northwest Utility Contractors Association. We've seen our sharks. I think they're ready. So let's meet our first nonprofit to present, the Joys of Living Assistant Dogs.
Growing up on a farm, Joy St. Peter realized she found the animals a comfort when life wasn't easy. That knowledge later turned into Joys of Living Assistance Dogs, training and placing dogs with people with physical disabilities and veterans with PTSD. It takes 2 years to train a puppy who can open doors, turn on lights, and help with clothing and needs tailored to that person with whom they will live for the next 8 to 10 years. These dogs offer their owners a life of greater freedom and independence, and in many cases, their lives back.
I was just going to welcome you to Share Tank. We're very eager to hear your story. Please start.
Thank you. I'm Lori Sattenspiel with the Joys of Living Assistance Dogs.
And I'm Joy St. Peter, the founder and executive director. And we are here tonight to ask for $60,210 for our new project, New Hope Prison Puppies. As you saw in the video, we train dogs for people with disabilities and veterans with PTSD. When I first learned about the service dog industry, I wanted to know all about it. What did it take? What are the standards? And to produce high-quality service dogs. So I went to school. I came back as a service dog trainer. We, last year, got our assistance dogs international accreditation, which we are very, very proud of. Our mission is to provide skilled, devoted companions to support and assist people with physical disabilities, focused on building a life of greater freedom and independence.
The success of our mission and our organization as a whole lies with our working board, our devoted working board, our commitment of our volunteers, and our sponsors and our community partners. That success has led us to continue to sustain our programs. And we are working on looking at our strategic plan and trying to develop and expand one project, which is our New Hope Prison Puppies project. But our problem, we need to raise more dogs, assistance dogs for our clients. And we need more puppy raisers in order to do that. The puppy raiser, to be a puppy raiser, takes a time commitment, and it also has a financial impact. And we can only raise as many dogs as we have puppy raisers for. That challenge has given us a 3 to 5 year waiting list for our clients to get a dog.
When we have a veteran dealing with PTSD and you're waiting 5 years for that dog, it's very common for us to get that phone call that says, how much longer until I get a dog? I'm not holding on so well. And that's a very hard phone call to take. However, our New Hope Prison Puppies gives us an answer to that. It will allow us to take our puppies into the prison and have the inmates train them. And so it will cut down our wait time, and it will also maximize our resources that we already have. Because for every 3 to 4 puppies that are in the prison system being trained, it only takes one raiser that we already have to socialize and take them out 1 week a month and to give them the training and socialization that they need for the outside world. So in addition to that, we get to give back to the inmates as well. We get to teach them reintegration skills, such as better communication, how to follow instructions, patience, giving back to their community for the first time, and also, many times, for the first time, unconditional love. So for the $60,210, it will allow us to house the first 6 puppies and all of the equipment that we need to bring this into the prison, into the first prison. It will allow us to buy fences, kennels, the health care that the 6 puppies needs, food, all the training equipment, and the cost of a trainer to go in there. So you are helping so much more than just our recipients.
So I have to tell you, and I've already heard it tonight, that these cute puppies, how can you give them away? Well, this cute puppy is going to grow and mature and become a service dog. And for me and for JLAD and all of our volunteers, that's the ultimate gift that we can get as an organization. And I want to take a second just to show you a quick video about one of our veteran recipients who wants to tell you about how their dog has impacted him.
Hi, my name is Robert Elistad. I'm a veteran of the Air Force and the Army. JJ's been assigned to me as a PTSD dog. JJ's been a lifesaver more than once. JJ for me has created a new normal where I can make life livable again. He helps me when I have PTSD episodes by helping me get out of areas that are highly populated, and he leads me to the exits. JJ, I would call my battle buddy because he's got my back.
So by supporting our project, New Hope Prison Puppies, you help the whole community. You help the inmates get reintegration skills. You cut down our wait time. You help people with physical disabilities and our veterans with PTS get a dog quicker, and to also be a contributing member of our community.
So Joy, Nikki, and I want to say thank you for giving us a tremendous opportunity to the Share Tank and CCI to help make a difference in our communities and our clients' lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful presentation, ladies, and Nikki, of course. But let's turn it over to Sharks. What questions do you want answers?
Well, I'll begin.
Okay.
First of all, very nice presentation. I'm very interested and supportive of your group as a Vietnam War veteran, what you're doing for veterans with PTSD. So my first question is, this was a little confusing to me, is do you have the commitment from the Department of Corrections to to do this? 'Cause I
Actually,
didn't
right
hear
now-
you say that.
Right now, we are in one prison, but we don't have all of the fencing and everything up. We take the puppies in there 1 day a week, and the inmates train them for an hour, and then we have to take them back. So we don't have, and we've been doing that for 3 years.
But are you in the state institutions?
We are connecting with the state as we speak.
Okay, thank you.
One of the approaches we take as business people is to talk about the benefits and costs. See, we've talked about the costs, the over 60,000 of costs. Tell us how many people that benefits. What's your ratio?
That sets us up for the first 6 puppies. We do have a prison that would like to dedicate a whole wing as puppy raisers. And when we put puppies into the prison and for the inmates to train, they dedicate so much time training them, we have a higher success rate. So out of 6 dogs that are in the prison, our success rate should be 5 dogs to 1 person that is taking them out and socializing them. So the more dogs we can get in the prison. However, after the first year, this is just setup cost. Then the second year, the cost goes way down because we already have the fences, we have the kennels, we have that. And so then that becomes a very sustainable cost for us.
As an organization, we've been able to, we just had a graduation and put 5 dogs into service, so about 5 dogs a year.
We want to double that because that's our current rate, and we want to have 12 to 20 dogs a year right now, because when we have a 3 to 5 year wait list, that is a very long time.
I'm a veteran as well, and I work with some of the prison population, and I love what you guys are saying, and who doesn't love puppies?
I understand that you're interested in doing this in minimum security prisons in the state system, is that correct?
Well, not just the minimum, but that's where the prisons usually will let us in. But we want to expand because the more we expand, the more people we can help.
I'm curious, you're asking for the 60,000 for this year to start, but some of that is startup costs. You described the fences, the kennels, and things like that. So if this went into the next year, after if it gets established with the full 60,000, what would it cost to maintain the program?
Well, it costs about $500 a year just for food, and then the medical cost, but most of that medical cost is within the first year, so that's already taken care of. And so we also already have all of the training supplies, so that's already taken care of. So it's minimal medical costs and food, minor training supplies.
So, sharks, time to school up, circle up. They're starting to circle. There you go. Okay, sharks.
So we're really hoping that this inspired some people. What we would like to do for now is $6,000 that we will put in now, and an additional $6,000 that we will put in as a matching. If it can be raised, if an additional $6,000 can be raised by December 31st, we will match that amount.
Wonderful.
So that really comes up with a total of $18,000.
So in kind, and I don't know if this is of interest to you, but we would be happy to pour you precast kennel slabs for all the kennels you want wherever you want them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Sharks. And I turn to you, audience, at this point. There is also a way that you can donate and be a shark as well. On there, you will see the website for CCI. Check it out and donate with all you can. And we're back to the first nonprofit share tank. Thank you all for being here tonight. Time to see the next nonprofit. Join me in looking at the screen as we welcome Ikebox.
The Ikebox, a busy nonprofit coffee shop in downtown Salem, provides young people the chance to make their lives better by building work skills. people skills, and confidence that prepares them to succeed. Challenge builds character, so Ike Youth continually seek challenge together in the various aspects of life. From personal health and wellness to perfecting a shot of espresso, it's not a handout. It's an inspiring opportunity to get to work, building a better life.
Welcome to Share Tank. We're all here big fans of the Ike Box and everything you do with divested young people in our community, and we're very interested in hearing your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharks. My name's Tiffany. This is my husband, Mark, and together we founded Isaac's Room, a nonprofit that runs the Ike Box as a successful social enterprise. Tonight, we're here asking for $100,000 to help us start another one, to expand and replicate a very successful model. A social enterprise is a business that serves a mission, both operationally and financially. And the Ike Box has done quite well at that. Over the last 6 years, the gross sales at the Ike Box coffee shop have increased by over 300%, and we're still growing. Thank you. And the coolest thing about that is that when you're a social enterprise and you see those numbers growing, you're serving more youth. And then, so as a successful business serving more youth, the youth that we are serving are experiencing transformation in their life. This is Alex. Alex came to Ike about 4 years ago as a referral from parole probation. And these are his words about his experience at Ike. Before Ike, my life is completely controlled by drugs and self-destruction. There's no point in tomorrow. After Ike, I am in control of my life and strive for success, forever working at being a better person. For the last 2 years, Alex has management experience at 2 local businesses. This is Sierra. Sierra came to Ike about a year ago, and she's currently employed at the Ike Box. Here's how she describes her experience. Before Ike, alone. Taking medication for anxiety and depression, social interactions were terrifying. That doesn't look like that, does it, anymore? After Ike, no longer taking medication, confident and working as barista at Ike Box, not alone and excited for my future. And then we have Philip. Philip just joined us 2 months ago. In fact, he's fresh off training camp and just started his internship at the Ike Box. Here's what Philip says. I already feel the difference Ike Box is making in my life. I was hanging out with people and doing things that weren't getting me anywhere. Now I'm motivated because people here are supportive and showing me positive roads that I can take. A successful business making transformation in youth. And the other cool thing that Ike Box is proving of its own to be a great social enterprise is the way that it contributes to the overall financial well-being of the organization. You see, not only is Ike Box funding itself, that means covering all the business, all the costs of being a small business, which you can understand is a feat in itself. But over the last few years, we've been contributing about 35% to the added expenses of the organization as a whole.
So we're asking you to help us build another one. We want another Ike Box in town. And the simple reason for that is so that we can serve more young people. Philip was one of 8 young people who recently completed a level of training that made them eligible for internship and apprenticeship at the Ike Box. But because of that capacity issue, because we can't hire everyone, we were only able to accept 4 of those 8 into that stage of the program. Philip's one of the 4. And we've already heard how he's feeling more motivated and seeing other possibilities for his life. We had to say to the other 4, not yet. Another coffee shop simply means more jobs. More jobs mean more places for kids to engage, more ways for us to say yes to those other 4 young people to have the experience that Philip is currently having and talking about. It's a transformational experience. It's an experience that flows from a unique approach that comes from firmly held beliefs. We believe in the power of a challenge. We don't believe we're doing anybody any favors when we coddle them or protect them from a challenge. Challenge is the path to personal growth. And so we are very intentional about surrounding our kids with challenging activities and experiences. Foremost, that real job in a competitive downtown coffee shop. We believe in owning your own solution. We believe that if we can equip the young people to search for and find and implement and struggle through that solution to their own problems and the strategies to accomplish their own goals, then they're not only solving problems and accomplishing goals in the here and now, but they're gathering a tool belt that they go from here with. And throughout their lives, with or without us, they face the next problem and the next goal with confidence and real capacity. We believe that what's true for the young people is also true for us as an organization. We believe in owning our own solution. We believe in owning our own strategy to accomplish our goals for our mission. One of the problems that most nonprofits face is where to find that unrestricted operational revenue. And as Tiffany has pointed out, the Ike Box has been contributing about 35% of the additional costs of the organization after paying it for itself and providing these opportunities for young people. The big contribution that we're asking for tonight is not a handout that goes away after a year of operations or even after the completion of this project. When this project is completed, there's another coffee shop open, generating that hard-to-raise revenue that every nonprofit is challenged to find. Our approach is unique, finally, in an even more foundational belief. It's the belief that all of these kids are our kids. It's a belief that for us is gut level, and it became gut level in a very personal way.
We lost our first son, Isaac. And a little less than a year after that, we named a brand new nonprofit, Isaac's Room.
When we lost Isaac, it opened up that place in every parent's heart that awakens a ferocious devotion, a whatever it takes attitude, because that's my kid. The name Isaac's Room affirms the belief that they are all our kids. And it holds us to the ethic to do for them whatever we would do for Isaac, whatever it takes. For 11 years at the Ike Box, a very underserved, critically transitional age group has been seeing their trajectory go from drug addicted to corporate management, from homeless at 16 to university dorm at 19, from paralyzed by anxiety to the courage to walk behind the counter, turn around, and say, "How may I help you?" From tax assisted to tax paying. It's working, it's paying for itself and then some, it's changing lives. There's 450 customers a day that wear or want an I Heart Ike shirt. There are about 100 youth per year who think another Ike Box would be a great idea.
So who wants some more coffee?
Well done, Mark and Tiffany. Let's turn it over to the Sharks and see what kind of questions they have for you guys.
You've done a great job of talking about Ike Box and the changing lives in Ike Box, but I'd like to hear some more about where the proceeds go to. What does Isaac's Room do?
Isaac's Room helps divested young people build the capacity to rise to the challenges of life. Once again, we don't solve problems. We give them the tools to solve their own problems. We don't articulate their goals or what we think their dreams ought to be, but we give them the inspiration to dream big dreams because we give them the tools to chase those dreams. We have mentoring.
I was going to say, we do that through a program called Ike Quest. Yes.
We have a lot of Ike things named after Isaac, and Ike Quest is the quest to make life better. It starts with training camp, where the kids are challenged to actually work out physically. I think there was some of that in the video. They are challenged with what we call key ideas in a class setting, and then they're challenged to sit around a table and eat dinner together. And they go through that for 4 weeks, and then they're eligible for what I mentioned, the internship and apprenticeship phase. So it's challenging activities designed to bring out the best effort in the young people and show them that there are ways that they can take control and take responsibility.
Is there a published curriculum for the training camp? Or how does that work?
No, sir. The curriculum has come out of years of experience from the both of us, coaching, teaching, youth pastoring, foster parenting, working with young people in a variety of settings, and figuring out, discovering what works.
The curriculum is repeatable. I mean, each training camp goes through the same basic curriculum. So there are copies of some of the stuff we teach, but yeah.
And you have to complete the training camp in order to be eligible for an internship apprenticeship at the Ike Box,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And so one more question. Have you scouted out a new location where you're thinking about?
Well, we have looked at several places. We have not had the capital to move forward into more serious discussions, but I'm currently in discussions with several, a realtor and also some commercial developers and different people that are interested in our mission. But again, the capital is what we need to go any further.
Yes, we've scouted it out. No, we don't have a location in mind.
You know, how's the organization set up?
The only volunteers are the interns in the coffee shop, and they work a 72-hour volunteer internship, and there's a little curriculum there and some proficiencies that they have to demonstrate in order to be eligible for what we call apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is paid, and they are, if they complete their internship, they are promised an interview for an apprenticeship. That 4 of 8 that I mentioned were stopped at that level of internship.
I love your passion. I love what you're doing for kids. We need this across Oregon. We need it across the country. I don't think we need to stop at 2. I think we need to figure out how we can build more.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I just think that the presentation went really well. I thought the graphs were great. You know, I'm a numbers guy, so I was really impressed by the numbers, so that gave me some real confidence in your plan, so I thought that was good.
Thank you.
I thought you did a fabulous job, and to reiterate what a huge fan I am of what you do for the children in our community.
And I would say that if a town like Salem, Oregon can support 2 Starbucks on the same block, we can support another Ike's.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else, Sharks? Okay, you know what to do. School up. Okay, Sharks, we're ready to hear from you.
Thank you. After great consultation with all of our colleagues, we're prepared to invest $11,000 now in your project. We'll also offer another $6,000 contingent on you being able to raise another $6,000 as a match, hopefully by December 31st of this year.
Thank you so much.
Well, you guys kind of know what I do.
Yeah, we do.
But what I think what we could do, and talking to Rick, we'd probably want to put together maybe a team building meeting, try to find the right people, some partners, and see what we can do and get a lot of in-kind work done for you. And
Thank you.
let's get some meetings together.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Sharks. So $17,000. Again, now we turn it over to you. Meet the match of those Sharks. They want to give more money to this great business. So again, thank you very much. And again, those of you at home, please go to the CCI website and you can donate there as well. Again, the donations don't stop today. Tomorrow is another day. Welcome back once again, everybody. Good to see everybody's smiling faces out there in the crowd. Join me in welcoming our next nonprofit for tonight, number 3, Salem Art Association.
The Salem Art Association is a nearly 100-year-old nonprofit serving the Mid-Willamette Valley through 4 distinct programs. Bush House Museum, connecting people to Oregon heritage through tours and education. Community arts education, enriching the lives of 7,000 students, teachers, and parents. The annual Salem Art Fair and Festival, attracting 35,000 attendees during 3 days each July. And the Bush Barn Art Center, showcasing works by local, regional, and international artists.
Welcome, Salem Art Association. You give us the art fair and so much more. We are looking forward to your presentation and hearing the ups and downs of what you have to tell us.
Thank you. I'm Sandra Burnett, the Executive Director of the Salem Art Association. The essence of humanity is to express itself. From the caves of Lascaux to the current day, man has always marked his passage through time. Our civilizations have been understood by the arts they've left behind. And the arts are personally transformative too. Through the arts, we understand ourselves. And this is the right of every human. I'm here tonight to ask you for $74,000 that we need to complete our elevator project in the Bush Barn Art Center. People with disabilities, people with injuries, and our aging population are unable to experience the exhibits and the events that we hold in the second floor of the Bush Barn Art Center because there is no elevator. And first, I just want to introduce you to a few folk who represent the people impacted by this.
I'm Jim Barrick. I've been a gallery guide, a Salem Art Association docent for almost 10 years, but I have more and more difficulty negotiating the stairs up to the gallery. I'm worried, as important as being a gallery guide is to me, that I might have to stop being a Salem Art Association docent.
Hi, I'm Denise Cedar. I'm an artist here in the Salem community. I'm a big supporter of the Salem Art Association. I think it's a treasure in our community. Unfortunately, I am not able to attend many of the events that are on the second floor. It's becoming more and more difficult for me to negotiate the stairs. I'm hopeful that we will have an elevator so that artists and people in the community of all abilities can attend events.
Over 25,000 people visit the Bush Barn Art Galleries every year, but not everyone who comes can experience all the program that we offer the community. This is the problem. There's a steep flight of stairs. People come into the galleries and they are blocked by this flight of stairs. It happens on a weekly basis. Sometimes people are quite devastated. Like we had a grandmother there to see her grandchild's art at a Young Artist Showcase. In the end, two strong young men had to carry her up. But I think you can empathize with her what that must have felt like. Speaking of the Young Artist Showcase, this is Gary Epping, who is a quadriplegic, probably known to many of you. Gary is a major donor to this elevator project, but he is also a strong supporter of the Young Artist Showcase, which exhibits artworks from over 500 students each year from around our region. Gary is also the judge of the poster artist, but sadly, he has never been able to be at the award ceremony and see the delight in a young child's face as she receives the award for the artwork that he so thoughtfully selected. We've also had artists who've been unable to see their own exhibitions. You met Denise, who was one of this summer's salon artists. She does get up the stairs with great difficulty, but we want to ensure that by next salon, that she can take her place as an exhibiting artist with the same dignity afforded all artists. You met Jim in the video. This is our volunteer gallery guide docent group. They provide very important staffing in the second floor gallery for us. But as you can see, many of them are seniors, and inevitably some can no longer climb the stairs and have to drop off from their membership of this group. And this is particularly distressing because they are a close and supportive group, supportive of each other. and they gather together around their participation in the arts. And I'm sure you can understand how that must feel as a senior to be losing your social network. This is the design. The elevator is being installed in the annex alongside. A glass atrium will connect the two sides. This design has the approval of the Historic Landmarks Commission and the Salem City Council. The arts help us interpret the world around us. They define the human condition, and they help us understand where we are in time and space. This is what we give the community. 11,000 people in Salem have ambulatory difficulties. So for the sake of those 11,000 people, let's fix this, let's get this right.
I want to thank you for your support.
Thank you very much for your support. It means a lot.
With your help, we can be accessible to everybody. And I think this is simply the right thing to do, not only for those 11,000 of our neighbors here in Salem now, but also the countless numbers of people yet to come. Thank you.
Well done, Sandra. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So at this point, we turn it over to our friendly, nice sharks. Start down here with Rick.
Thank you for your presentation. I recently lost my best friend who's paraplegic, and I understand how important access is, but I have to ask the question, and I love what you folks do. Is there a point where you reach a certain sum of money that it makes sense to perhaps make a horizontal expansion for more gallery space that's accessible? Has that been considered? Is that possible?
That isn't possible because of the Bush Park and the deed of transfer that was originally in place when the city acquired the park. We cannot increase our footprint in the park. So we have to make what we have work to the best advantage.
I very much enjoyed your presentation, and I think adding the human aspect to who this affects is really very powerful. I experienced the same thing when I first became Chief Justice and traveled around the state to find courthouses that had no elevators, and victims of crime where they had courthouses on the second floor had to be carried up to a trial. So I think when you put the real person face, you make a good case.
Thank you.
I think getting a panel, especially business people, to understand the cost, the impact, and what that is going to be important. You know, the cost value, because it's a big ticket item for, you know, for that space. So I think that'd be your challenge.
You know the drill. Time to school up, huddle up, talk amongst yourselves. Sharks, time to take your places and tell us some good news. Richard.
It sometimes happens that good ideas and good presentations come in, and then the Sharks give the following type of message that we have decided not to fund at this time, but we wish you luck with the presentation and the community support we think that the website will offer and gather for you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your time.
Well, don't leave yet, Sandra.
Oh,
I'm going to bring you
okay.
right out here. Come out here with me, okay?
Yeah.
So I turn it over to you, audience. Today is not the only day you can donate, okay? Help preserve Bush Farm, help preserve the Salem Art Association, and again, donate with your heart as much as you can. And again, those of you at home, definitely check out the CCI website for ways to donate moving forward. Welcome back. We are into the home stretch of the evening. We have two more wonderful nonprofits to present tonight. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Liberty House, a child abuse assessment center here in Salem.
Liberty House provides specialized medical and intervention services for children referred for concerns of abuse or neglect. Its medical providers and interviewers have extensive training, and they help children to be safer. The warm, child-friendly environment is comforting for children who have experienced traumatic injuries. Liberty House is a critical resource for Marion and Polk counties, where there are over 8,500 reports and 1,100 confirmed cases of abuse each year.
Welcome. Really excited to hear the next phase of Liberty House.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Allison Kelly, and I'm the CEO of Liberty House, and with me tonight is Daisy. And we are here to ask for support for help in raising $32,500 to fund a children's garden, the design, the development, and the construction of a children's garden between our two buildings on campus, our clinic building and our administration building. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about child abuse. This is a different tone than what we've talked about tonight. It's a tough subject. Child abuse in our local area is both very widespread and the effects are very severe. If children have suffered abuse, they can suffer physical injury. In some cases, for little ones, that might even mean brain damage, permanent brain damage, and emotional harm, fear, guilt, shame. It's very, very important to recognize when there are opportunities to invest to make a difference. There can be a very powerful return on investment. So responding is important, and the process for responding is important. Since child abuse is a crime, children might need to speak to a detective. They might need to see a doctor. They might need to see other professionals. Having to say that over and over, what has happened, can even add to the trauma. So that's where Liberty House comes in. We provide coordination. Instead of making children go to other services, we bring those services to the children so they can be seen by people who have very special training in a child-friendly environment. We have medical providers on our staff who have special training in abuse assessment, and we have interviewers who know how to listen to children. We never presume that anything has or hasn't happened. We're neutral and objective. But in cases when abuse is occurring, we do play a role in stopping it. The good news is that children can heal if they are given the right intervention and the right treatment, and that helps us to prevent further abuse. Liberty House board and staff have stepped up amazingly over the last 18 months and raised the funds through the generous support of the community to purchase this building that you see on the right, and that adds and creates a campus with the building that you see on the left. And what that means is that we are now able to see children on an immediate basis, as well as the children that we can see scheduled far out. 2 years ago, we saw about 360 children, and because our staff is working so hard, we are on track to see over 500 children this year alone. So let's talk about the garden. Why a garden? When children come, the first thing they see when they get out of their cars in that parking lot is this. They see a ground, bare ground with lawn. We'd like to make that a little bit more beautiful. We would like to add some daisies. We would like to make it a child-friendly environment with paths that children can walk on, with a place where people can sit and rest. And this is for children and their families when they arrive early for their appointments, so they have a place to be, to relax, to be calm, to see beauty. Many children that we see at Liberty House don't come from beautiful environments. They come from environments that are pretty rough. We know that being able to look at flowers and look at beautiful things is healing. There's science to support that. We also want to make it child-friendly. We envision having some sort of structures and things in this garden where there might be letters of the alphabet. So imagine a 2 or a 3-year-old walking along the path with their parent or caregiver or even their therapist. We're adding mental health services as follow-up services and be able to say, let's look for the picture of the kitty cat or the dog or the lion. Let's look for the letters of the alphabet, and let's walk until we find the letter that your name begins with. So we're hoping to make it a beautiful, child-friendly environment. We might even add art. We know that the beauty of nature can be healing. So let's talk about this project. It's a big project. The square footage that we're talking about is roughly the size of a red zone on a football field, from about the 20-yard line to the goal line. So it's not a small area, and we'll have to take some steps to get there. We'll have to survey. We've had some preliminary designs drawn up, and we'll have to excavate using bigger machines than what we have. and look at that irrigation system that's existing and find out if any of that needs to be replaced. It's about 16 years old, so it likely will. We'll have to excavate and then haul in about 120 yards of soil to create mounds. We're hoping for concrete items and things like that, and lay out the pathway. Purchase and plant. We envision flowers that bloom successively throughout the year. So starting in the spring with lilac, azaleas, rhododendrons, the daisies that bloom in June, lilies in July, chrysanthemums in the fall. So we're hoping to have the help. And here's the thing. When children come, and as they are engaging with a therapist, and that part of that therapy will help them understand that the abuse was not their fault, they don't have to feel guilty, and it was something that was done to them, but it doesn't have to hold them back from living their life. I'm told that it's helpful for children to hear that other children have had a similar experience. So we will be able to encourage children when they're working with the therapist that they can also add beautiful flowers. We'll give them a gift card so that they can go buy a perennial and plant that anywhere they want in the garden. So when new children come for therapy, we'll be able to say, there are other children who have had experiences just like you, and they're on the path to healing, and they planted these flowers for you so that you can have the experience of beauty and you can have hope in healing. We see children all the time that come from traumatic environments, and one child said to us, I've had no voice. This child endured abuse for years. She said, when I came to Liberty House, you gave me my voice back. So one final thing, why the garden? When we walked out on this stage tonight and you took one look at Daisy, you smiled. And when you smiled, you relaxed. And when you relaxed, you felt better. When people look at beautiful things, they feel better. That's why the garden. So thank you for your support.
What do you have? What kind of questions do you have for these ladies?
Well, I'll do kind of a loaded question, obviously. What, in groundwork for what you got so far, what things have been donated or contributed so far for the garden?
We have had a landscape firm locally work with us and secure the services of a landscape designer, a landscape architect, so we have preliminary plans drawn up. We have had a very generous person step up and say that they would be willing to consider donating some of the materials, which is beautiful. And that's about it.
When I first heard this idea, I thought you were going to have therapists out with children in the garden, and I was wondering how you're going to do documentation. But I now understand that this is just a warm-up before they see the therapist. Is that correct?
That's a great question. It may be, I think we see this as a place of beauty that's there as a resource. And when children come to Liberty House, we assess that child and find out, who is this child? What have they been through? What do they need? And so it won't be up to us to determine how that therapy proceeds. That'll be up to the therapist and the child and what that child needs. But if that child needs a place of beauty, that garden will be there, and they can say, let's take a walk outside. And there's something else. The process of responding can be hard on families, and so this beauty will be available to the parents or caregivers also. And the other thing that dawned on me the other day, we think about our first responders who go into homes that are very troubled. Those are hard environments, and that takes a toll on our law enforcement professionals and on the DHS caseworkers. They see some pretty rough things. They come to Liberty House also. I think this garden will be a place of beauty for those professionals to also find a little restoration, and for our staff as well. Hats off to our staff. They hear very stressful stories all day long. They absorb that, and they need the support. They need the beauty as well.
Decades ago, there was nobody that did what you folks do. These things went undealt with, and police officers and courts didn't have the tools they needed. What you guys do is so needed, and I love the idea of the garden. I think it'll bring so much peace, as you guys have said, to so many people, and I can't say enough good about your mission and about this project.
The flowers were great. The outfits are great. I think it was a great presentation. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. The only thing I can really say is great presentation, great presence.
Thank you.
Well, you know what to do. School up, huddle up. Okay, Sharks, coming back to you. Okay, I want to hear some beautiful news.
Tonight we're ready to contribute $7,000 to get you guys started on your project, and then you've got Mr. Concrete next door. You're gonna water features, any kind of stonework, anything that he can do, he'll do. And then you guys know what I can do. I can have the meetings and pull this thing together, and hopefully we can get enough in kind to cover most of the balance of that.
Wow.
Very good, thank you. Thank you very, very much, Sharks. And again, thank you very much, Allison and Daisy, for being here. Donate as much as you can. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back for our fifth and final segment of the evening. Our last one, our next nonprofit, is the Marion Polk Food Share.
We believe that no one should be hungry. Every person should have the food they need to work, learn, and thrive, not just today, but for their whole lives. That's why Marion Polk Food Share delivers food to hungry families today and invests in long-term solutions to hunger. Hands-on experience growing, eating, and sharing healthy, fresh food can transform our community. Please join us to create a better tomorrow, beginning today.
Welcome, MPFS folks here. You are number one on our list of charities because if you can't eat, you can't do anything else. Welcome tonight.
Thank you very much. My name is Jared Hibbert Swanson, and I manage the Marion Polk Food Share's Youth Farm program. Before I tell you about the youth farm tonight, I actually want to start by telling you about one of our kids on the youth farm, a kid named Tony, who joined the farm 3 years ago during our first season. Tony had moved around a bit as a kid, and he ended up living here in Salem with his grandparents. Here he is on the end of the screen in gray. And Tony was looking for a place where he felt like he fit in, and he knew he could be productive and could give back. To work on our farm, you have to get there early, though. 8 a.m. on weekdays, and we start at 6 a.m. for harvest on Saturdays. And Tony didn't always have a reliable ride, which meant that he had to get up extra early, 4 a.m., and walk 4 miles to get to the farm. And he did it reliably every Saturday without complaint. And in fact, most Saturdays he would offer to stay on for an extra shift because Tony knew that if he went back home, he probably wasn't going to be doing much of anything. But if he came to the farm, he was helping to feed people.
Hi, I'm Rick Gappo. I'm the CEO of Marion Polk Food Share. And we're here to ask you to invest $62,000 into the youth farm, to invest into the youth of our community, to give them an amazing hands-on experience growing healthy food that really does transform their lives and makes our community a better place to live. We believe nothing good happens when you're hungry. Stress levels go up. Hope goes down. Kids don't do as well in school. Families don't function as well together. And thankfully, with the help of thousands of community members, we're able to make sure that everyone has access to good, healthy food today. And while we're doing that, we're also working on some really innovative, long-term, high-impact solutions like the Youth Farm.
Our youth farm is an urban farm that invests in kids like Tony, teaches them how to grow food, and helps them grow into community leaders. Over the past 3 years, I've had the pleasure of working with lots of kids on the farm. And one thing I've learned is that most teens don't like feeling unproductive and overlooked. In fact, they're pretty confident that they have something to offer. They just haven't found the space to show that yet. They need a little encouragement, and they need the space to grow. Every kid finds something different at the farm, really. I remember one young woman whose family had immigrated here from Mexico, and she'd experienced hunger firsthand as a child. At the farm, she found a place where she could tangibly give back and help make sure that other children didn't experience the same hunger that she had as a child. Now she's actually on a full scholarship to the University of Oregon, where she's studying food security issues internationally. I remember another young man who was interested in improving the environment, but he didn't find a lot of support for that interest at home. In fact, his parents thought it was kind of a waste of time. But at the farm, he found a place where he could engage that interest physically, take care of a piece of land, learn about organic farming. Really, each kid finds something different because at the farm is a place where they can test for themselves and see what they're capable of and explore their interests. And I could talk about our kids all night, really, but it's better if you can hear from one of them directly.
My name's Yaneli Hernandez. I'm a junior at Early College High School, and I work at the youth farm. I've discovered that the environment is my passion. I've learned about biodynamic farming and crop rotation. My friends say I geek out a lot about farming. If it wasn't for the youth farm, I'd probably just be one of those kids that's at home being depressed. You have to have something to hold on to that takes you out of that hole, and the youth farm has become that. When I get out here, I feel liberated. I've become more of an open person and someone that just has more confidence. I could say that I've found myself, and the youth farm has become something of who I am.
We work with a lot of kids like you, Nellie. Kids who are looking for a place to be engaged, looking for a place to belong, and they haven't found it yet. And so someone, a teacher, a counselor, or maybe a fellow youth farmer, knew that student's desire and suggested that they apply to become a youth farmer.
So on the youth farm, we grow more than 40 different varieties of fruits and vegetables using organic methods. And we use the product of our kids' labor, their labor, to run a small farm business. We have a weekly booth at the Salem Saturday Market, staffed by our kids. And we also distribute 40 weekly shares to farm subscribers through a CSA program. It's great that the kids get a chance to interact with customers. Shy kids really open up and they learn to talk to adults, which is a unique skill for a teenager, I think. But that's only the story of half of the food that we grow, because another 50% is donated to local food pantries, giving hungry families access to the same fresh, local, organic produce that we sell at the farmers market. Some of our most appreciative customers, however, are the kids themselves. They also get a chance to cook lunch for one another every day on the farm, pulling the food directly out of the field, cooking it on site, and eating together around a table, building friendships over the table as well as out in the field. The youth farm is really the perfect site for kids, young kids, to learn that hard work is rewarded with a bountiful harvest.
The exciting news is that the youth farm is moving. We're moving to a new 6-acre site in partnership with Chemeketa Community College. It's going to be on the campus, and with this new site and with a new partnership, we're going to grow more food, we're going to feed more hungry families, we're certainly going to engage more community volunteers, and most importantly, we're going to be able to double the amount of kids we work with each year.
On this new 6-acre site, we anticipate working with 35 kids annually, up from a max of 15 in our previous seasons. We also anticipate tripling our food production, and for the first time, we're going to be able to offer workshops on how to grow food to both adults and young children. To make this new farm run, however, we need some new infrastructure. This winter, we're working on a classroom, some tool sheds, and much more. The $62,000 that we're asking for tonight will go to fund 2 critical pieces of our farm infrastructure: a greenhouse where our kids can learn to start their plants directly from seed, as well as a barn, which will include our farm kitchen and produce washing stations where we can wash and package the thousands of pounds of produce that we plan to grow every single year. Earlier, you had a chance to meet Yaneli in the video, and we'd like to bring her up on the stage in case you have a question for a youth farmer.
Hi, I'm Yaneli, and the youth farm means a lot to me because it has become like my second home, and it has helped me through so much. And I really do hope that each and every one of you chooses to invest in us tonight and see what you can make possible.
We're here to invite you to invest into the youth farm and the kids in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jared and Rick and Yaneli. And now we're going to turn it right over to the Sharks.
So what you folks do is absolutely critical to the community. Working with the kids, doing what you're doing, I'm all behind your mission. My question is, you're doing this beside Chemeketa, and it sounds like you're spending the money on some infrastructure like the greenhouse. How many square feet is the greenhouse? How long is the lease? And how long do you expect the improvements to last?
Let me answer the partnership questions, and then the farm questions I'll let Jared answer. So we have a 9-year lease right now with Chemeketa. But the partnership has full intent of going beyond that. Both sides wanted to have an exit clause if something wasn't working out, but it's a 9-year partnership. And we're both going in with enough investment of both energy and infrastructure that there's no reason to believe it's going to won't last well beyond that time. And Chemeketa, and we have members from Chemeketa here today who would say this, the Youth Farm ignited energy within their own school, and specifically within the horticulture department, who says, no, we want this. We want a place where if we have a soil science class, we have a farm now that we can actually go look at soil science, pest management, whatever it is. So Chemeketa has given all signals that they're embracing it and actually have sped up some of their plans because of the Youth Farm Partnership. And Jared, on the kind of the size and stuff.
Yeah, the size of the greenhouse, that's a quick one, 800 square feet. If you have more questions about it, I'm happy to answer them.
The length of the improvements, the time that the improvements will stand, I guess was the other part of that question.
Well, they'll stand for a very long time. When they happen, depends a little part how generous you guys are today. Yeah, so we're funding these projects, and there's a few, and the barn is the most critical. It's what we have to start with. And then the greenhouse, and then we actually have a couple other projects that we'll build when they're funded so that we have even richer experience.
Rick, I think you said that with this new location that you would be expanding the number of kids you work with on the farm. And what did you base that projection on, or how did you get?
Jared, I'm going to let you answer that, but I think we can get a slide up on that. Right there. There you go.
Yeah, so in the past, this year was our biggest season in terms of numbers of kids that we were able to work with, which was 15. And the limitation really isn't in terms of staff and the number of adults that we have available to work with the kids. It's primarily about space and infrastructure. That our previous site, we had pretty limited infrastructure and a small field to grow in. And simple things like bathroom space and kitchen space for kids to work in were really at a max where we couldn't simply get more kids in the kitchen to work that, and there wasn't really even enough sometimes work on the farm for 15 kids to do. With 6 acres, 35 kids, we feel like we will have plenty of planting, weeding, watering, fertilizing, harvesting, with up to 45,000 pounds of produce. And as you can see on the slide here, it's really an expansion in a number of categories, not just the kids that we're working with, but also tripling the amount of produce. And a key point here is the increased access by the public, that it's not just the kids, just the youth farmers that we'll be able to serve, and the hungry families accessing the food. It's also the community at large who will be able to access the youth farm as a hub for learning about growing food for yourself in your own backyard.
So most of this is going to infrastructure. And you are receiving about $11,000 this year, I think it was, from what you've raised, the half that you sell, and then another half goes back to Marion Polk Food Share. So if you increase to $45,000, do the sales basically sustain the program? Is the program pretty much self-sustaining? Is basically infrastructure that you need?
Short answer is no. So the sales will definitely increase and will offset programmatic cost. But there will be still ways that we have to raise money every year. We believe that community development and kid engagement is worth raising money for. And we think that we have a program that offsets the cost, and yet we'll always be raising money for investing in our kids.
I enjoyed your presentation immensely. One of the things I was interested that I didn't hear was how you actually recruit your kids and how they find out about the program.
Do you want to tell how you got in the program?
Well, I got in the program by a recommendation of one of my friends, and hearing from her experiences, I felt that I would have had different experiences with my own perspective and would have had something to do for the summer, which I did.
And the farm is really open to any teen in the community that's ready to work hard with us. We work with OSU Extension Service to recruit kids from across the district who have a lot of potential but haven't yet found an opportunity or a mechanism to advance that potential and to fully develop it. And those individuals, those students are recruited or identified by counselors or teachers in the school district.
You ready to huddle up? Ready to school up? Sharks, back to you. And with that, I turn it over to you.
I think we've got about $10,000 there.
Thank you.
That they were willing to contribute to the project. And in kind, if you're interested and don't know if that's of value to you, whether it be infrastructure and basis for greenhouses, raised beds, those sorts of things.
Cement slabs.
We've met.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very, very much, Sharks. Again, thank you to the three of you, Jared, Rick, and Yaneli. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
And again, we're turning it over to you, but again, give them a round of applause. As we kind of wrap up this evening, we got to thank the Sharks again. Wonderful job. Thank you very much for all of your donations and for all of your time. And thank you once again to the home audience for making this a wonderful evening, an inaugural event for the ages. Thank you, CCI, for all your support. And again, thank you to the Sharks and everybody for all you do. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.